What's up, my people, mi gente? Welcome to another show of What's Next podcast. I have a special guest today. I'm your host, Lou Maroto. Thank you for joining us. Again, What's Next is a platform for people to tell their life-changing stories in the hopes that it can touch somebody that's watching us right now. Very impactful stories, trials and tribulations of that people have had in life. I'm hoping that these stories can get to our listeners or our watchers, people that are watching it on YouTube. Hopefully it has an impact on somebody where it'll change their actions. I don't like to use the word mistakes. I always say actions. Maybe change people's actions, maybe the way. But before we start and before I get in with my man, my special guest, let me say thank you to a couple of people that really have kind of have my back since day one. First and foremost, Simpatico Real Estate, my man Tommy Morrison. Thank you for the equipment that you have supplied, your generous donations. The Bushel Stop, for all your residential and commercial landscaping needs, go see Bushel Stop. And then you have my man Rudy from Inkhead Designs in the south end of the city of West Palm Beach. Rudy does anything from logos to wraps. He'll wrap your building, wraps cars. He'll wrap anything, all right? Rudy's the man to go see. Then we have Tacti Polo, all right? They have the polos. They have the nice trucker caps. Real nice clothes for men's, ladies. So go check out my man Clint at tactipolo.com. Last but not least, I also have Cws Holsters. Go check them out at cwsholsters.com for all your Kydex holsters, whether it be mag pouches, mag holsters, handcuffs, all that stuff for those guys and ladies that are in plainclothes capacity and don't want to wear the regular stuff that's issued by the department. They can check out man Jeremy at CWS Holsters. I want to say thank you to my man Beethoven Francois. He is the one that generously hooked us up with today's location. I want you guys to check him out because Beethoven is one of my Masonic brothers. His name of his company is Live Digital Box. If you want to come and set up, he's got like 4 or 5 different rooms that you can set up any which way you can for whatever kind of themes you like. You can email him at livedigitalbox@gmail.com. Again, his name is Beethoven, or you can call him at 561-598-1706. All right? So, again, thank you to all you guys that have held me down since day one. Where our channel slowly gaining some momentum. But, hey, I got nothing but time, and it's one day at a time, and the whole purpose of the show is to listen to impactful stories from other people that have been through it, have done it, and now can possibly change someone else's life. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce my friend John Robert Eddy, right? Thank you for coming. You like to go by Robby, right?
Yeah, everybody calls me Robby, yeah.
So, Robby, thank you for coming, man. It's a pleasure and an honor to have you here. You have ladies and gentlemen, he's also an author, all right? He wrote this book here, The Unfair Advantage. And I am not one to read many books, but when I find one that's very interesting, like this one, I read it in 2 days. Just the story that you have in here is just crazy story. So tell me, let's just get into it. Robby, tell me where you at now in life. We'll get to how you got to where you're at now. Tell me about your business, your family.
Yeah, I got a thriving air conditioning company. A big one. I got 18 employees, 12 trucks on the road. I'm married to a beautiful woman, and she's my best friend, man. She's like the woman version of me,
Mm-hmm.
I got 4 kids, 3 boys and a girl, 10, 9, 3-year-old, and 8 months. And I'm blessed, man. My life, I usually have to sometimes I got to pinch myself, man, on a day-to-day basis to where my life is at compared to where it was at one time, man. It's pretty insane, you know.
Absolutely, oh, man. I mean, again, having read your book and to see where you're at now, and I'm like, I'm glad, you know, that success has come to you after all that you have been through. You know what I mean? Let's start taking it back a little bit. All right. So take me, because when I read your book, I highlighted a couple of spots besides all these yellow tabs. That you know, it made me laugh. A couple of parts made me laugh. And I guess we can start off when you were, I don't know if it was elementary or middle school. And tell me about the story where you're
tracing the
letters.
Well, yeah, so it started back then. I realized, like, you know, the trials and tribulations and the alcoholism and drug addiction, it started way back before I ever picked up drugs or alcohol. From right then, I had, like, you know, when I was young, I would take when the teacher were teaching you how to do cursive, you know, instead of practicing the cursive, I would take my paper and put it on top of the part that they were showing you, trace it, and then put it back. And the teachers would be like, "Wow, you're doing such a great job," you know. And you know, looking back, you know, it was starting then, man, like just little, you know, and I was in SLD classes, you know, which was now looking back was like a bad thing for. It's trauma for a kid. You wouldn't really think so, but all the cool kids are going to their normal classes, but when there's a time to go take a test, they pull you out. Right. You know, and like that, at the time I didn't realize until years later that was putting an impact on my life, you know, because, you know, I went to, when we had English class, those class, like social studies and those in science, I'd be with the normal kids, but English and math, I'd go to another classroom, and, I can remember that actually affecting me, you know what I'm saying? So I started thriving off negative attention at a young age to fit in. And I was going against what I was raised. You know, my dad's a career military. He's an airborne ranger. He was a Golden Glove boxer. So he's a real good man. He taught me to be disciplined and to work hard. And so I was raised by really good mom and dad. My mom's a Southern belle. She's just like, I've heard her cuss like I can count on my hand. You know what I'm saying? She's just a good woman, man. So it had nothing to do with that. But, you know, being around all that stuff, getting into SLA, started thriving off negative attention. And I remember going through that, and, you know, in elementary school, middle school, I was a little bit chubby and stuff like that. So then when high school came around, I got into football at 6th grade. And that's when things turned around for me for the better a little bit, you know, because I found something that I was good at and that I enjoyed. And I remember I put the guy's name in there. The first day I played football, I remember this guy hit me. He hit me so hard, and it just knocked me on my butt. But instead of being in fear, you know, and being like, "Oh my God," as soon as he hit me like that and it knocked me on my butt, I realized, hey, you know what? I can do that too. And the next play, you know, I slammed him. But and that started my whole football thing. So that was another little outlet of, you know, being in SLD classes and all that stuff. So I got into that in high school, and I you know what? I was born and raised here, man, and I always like to mention that because people that try to change their lives, they try to do geographical changes, like go other places, leave. I'm going to fly to California, I'm going to move you can't move from yourself, man. You know what I'm saying? And if nothing changes, nothing changes. So if you got problems, you got to change in here. It's an inside job, man. It's not the outside.
So like you're saying, like people that are maybe going through different issues in life,
any issue,
might just pick up and go into another state, another country, thinking those issues are going to disappear.
Yeah, exactly.
Or whatever it may be. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Now you started playing football in middle school, or that's
middle
high
school. Yeah. Okay.
And then there was another portion of the book that I read that also had me chuckling, had me laughing a little bit. Tell me about when you were turning your paperworks or reports.
Yeah, so in high school, I would when kids would be taking tests. It was time to take a test. I wouldn't study. I wouldn't be, you know what I'm saying? I'd watch one of the smartest kids go up, and I would sneak up there, grab his test, and erase his name, her name, whoever, and put my name on the test, and I would pass.
That's crazy, man.
It's funny now looking back at it, but man, like that was, you know what I'm saying? Those were things that were taking place in my life that were, you know, just
trying to kind of add up.
Yeah, it's a snowball, man, into some real big things, you know.
Now, let me ask you a question, Robby. Like, your dad was straight disciplined military guy, so any substance abuse from anyone else in your family?
Oh yeah, my mom and my mom never drank, but my grandma and grandpa were full blown alcoholics. Like wake up in the morning shakes, alcoholic. So my mom grew up around that. Now her and her brother, they never drank, because some people, I've realized when it comes to that, if you're around alcoholism or drug addiction, most of the time you either become that or you become the opposite because you were around that.
Right.
So my mom and her brother, they never touched it because they seen what alcohol did to their family. And their other brother, Johnny, he became full-blown alcoholic. He's sober now and stuff like that. But, you know, that's basically the same thing. They grew up around that real bad. My dad, the Ranger, he drank, you know what I'm saying? He but not bad, man.
Socially kind of.
Yeah, dude, he just,
like it,
he was just, you know, honestly, looking back, he was probably alcoholic, but he wasn't a chronic alcoholic. There's a big difference from people, and that's the thing about alcoholism, man. People, you can have alcoholism, and there's a lot of people like, hey, listen, man, I got a job, I got a house, I got this, I got that. I ain't no alcoholic. That don't mean that you ain't an alcoholic. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can. My dad was so disciplined. He had a job, business, had all these things going on in his life.
Right.
But like every night he came home, he drank. You know what I'm saying? Every night. And you wouldn't think so coming from a person who drank crazy. And my dad ended up having a liver transplant in his life. And when the doctor asked him, hey, do you drink a lot? And I go, nah, you know, I come home, 2-3 beers, maybe a little finger of Jim Beam.
Uh-huh.
That's it. And the doctor's like, man, that's a lot.
He's doing it every day.
Yeah. So me, I'm thinking that ain't a lot. But yeah, man, you can, you know, for years I always thought the alcoholic was the guy outside with the sign, man. That's alcoholic, bro.
Got you.
But that's not the case, man. That's not what alcoholism is, man.
You know what? I've had it I had people in my family.
Yeah.
My uncle, God rest his soul, he was an alcoholic. I loved him to death. He would do anything for anybody in the family. But I remember it was like that, the shakes. Yeah. He used to live down in the south end of West Palm, off Forest Hill in Georgia.
Okay, yeah.
And I lived more out towards Palm Springs. And I would literally keep a plastic jug of vodka. I didn't even drink it. But he would leave his wife, escape from his house, and run over to my house real quick, like a Saturday, and literally, Robbie, he fill out maybe a water bottle and chuck it, because the shakes would just take, you know.
Yeah, man.
It was, what is it, withdrawals.
Yeah.
Going into, I guess, major withdrawals.
Yeah.
So, all right, so you're in high school, right? Who are you hanging out with in school? You know, are you say you started.
I became so that right before the high school year started. I told my dad, man, I want to start fullback. You know, I'm playing football and I'm doing good, but I was like, I was playing defensive line, and I told my dad, man, I want to play fullback. I wanted to run the ball, you know. And my dad says, well, you're gonna talk about it or be about it, you know. And he came home one day, and it was like 8th grade, and he came home with about 6-7 tires, man, in the back of his pickup truck. And he went out to the dirt road and he clocked my 40 without the tires, and I ran like a 5 flat 40 or something like that. And then he says, all right, son, here's what I want you to do. He put a tow rope around me, and I started running 40-yard dashes, like 10 of them. And I would do that like 3-4 times a week with one tire. And then the next week put another tire on. Next week put another tire on. I did that the whole summer. And not only did it build my confidence, but it also built my endurance, but it also made my speed go down to like a 4.6. So when 9th grade came around, high school, I got real lean and skinnier. Like I was lifting weights. All the kids are partying, hanging out, going to the beach. I was training.
You was determined to.
Yeah. So I came in 9th grade, and I was ready to roll, man. You know what I'm saying? And they put me on JV right away, and I started doing really well at football. I was fast, I was strong, I was in shape, running with tires. I played fullback, man, and so that. In high school, that carried me. You know, I was a jock, man, and I did really good in football. So that was like my thing. I didn't do good in school, but I was a jock, but I kept thriving off negative attention, man. I can remember being in the lunchroom getting in a fight with this kid because one of my buddies that I hung out with, which he's in prison now for a lot of years, man. Someone pushed him in the lunchroom, and I jumped on this dude, and as soon as I did, my other buddy, Derek, he jumps up. He's like, and the names are different in the book.
Cheering you on.
He starts cheering me on, and the whole school, like, jumps up. And I was like, you know, my adrenaline's pumping, but I was like, wow, you know what I'm saying? I felt like popular, and I felt like, wow, this is it. This is my calling. And that I remember that day, that's when I turned a leaf more on like the negative attention. You know what I'm saying? So I basically I created my own person, man. I became violent, you know, and started fighting people all the time and starting fights. You know, my dad had taught me how to fight at a young age, so I was good at, you know, my dad was a boxer, so, but he always taught me, son, don't ever, you know, walk away from a fight.
And up to that point that you're talking about, that fight in the cafeteria, you hadn't touched any alcohol or any drugs, anything like that?
No, man, no drugs and alcohol, man. I was just focused, man. I always had addictive personality looking back now, but my mind was focused on positive things, you know? I got into wrestling, and I was the type of person, like, I'd wrestle in high school, and when wrestling class was over in high school, I'd go to another wrestling practice. So I would do Greco-Roman wrestling in high school. People be wore out. I'd go to another freestyle wrestling. I was just like...
full of energy, man. Positive energy.
Yeah. So
at what point do you think life started to change for you?
As soon as I started using steroids, man. You know, I was an aggressive kid. I was strong. I've always been stronger and aggressive. And people started I came into my locker one time in football, and it said roid rage on it because I was very aggressive on the football field and fighting, and people are like, man, this dude's taking steroids. I was strong in the weight room. I was in a weightlifting team, and, you know, and people said I was on steroids, and I wasn't on steroids, man. And I just remember thinking, man, what if I did? And around this time, that's when I met the twins, you know, right? We were younger. And I ended up getting into, you know, taking steroids, man. And honestly, that was my gateway drug, man. Most people smoke pot or like do this or that. I didn't even drink first, man. I started using steroids, anabolic steroids. And the truth of the matter is don't let anyone fool you, man. Steroids are a drug, and they are a bad drug, man. They're bad.
Robby, I'll be honest with you. Like, before I read the book, and, you know, I'm in law enforcement. You know, call me naive or whatever.
Yeah.
I just would never thought that, you know, that would be a main drug that's a gateway for you for,
of course,
other thing.
Well, here's what my mind told me, and you could probably understand. Man, steroids make me stronger. They make me faster. They make me work harder. They make me, how could it be bad?
Yeah.
Make me better. Yeah, that's what my mind was telling me. That was a lie.
The little guy right
The little guy right here. It makes you stronger. It makes you better. Yes, right. And you know, steroids. And for what I'm after, the person I've become today, it's complete opposite. Steroids make you selfish, self-seeking, prideful. They make you think that you're on top of it, that you think invincible. Yeah, man. And being a person that I am today and the principles that I live by and God, it's the opposite, man.
That's crazy, man. What else did it lead to? Like, now I remember reading the book.
Oh, yeah.
The first time you did it.
Yeah.
And what, you were like nervous, you know,
oh yeah,
my
buddy,
needle and everything.
Yeah.
And your buddy had to help you out.
Yeah, it was on.
But what came next? You know,
after the steroids, man, I was with the same guys I got the steroids from, and they introduced me to GHB, man, and that's when I'm gonna tell you right now, man, that's when things went down fast for me, man. It didn't take long, you know what I'm saying? That's why I always like to say, when I share in prisons and I go to places, hey, man, whenever I put any mood or mind altering substance in me, man, larceny pumps in my veins, man. I break the law. Like, I mean, I turn Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Everything good about me goes straight out the window, and a whole different set of morals and motives come out, man. And anyone can relate to that who drinks and does that stuff. Think about it. Anytime I was drinking, anytime I ever got in trouble, or every time I was drinking, I didn't get in trouble. But every time I got in trouble, I was drinking, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it makes you, it turns you into a different person. It's spirit, you know?
What do they call it? That alcohol,
I know what you're trying to say.
You know what I'm saying?
Can't think of it. I know what you're about to say. When you take it ready to fight and stuff. Liquid courage. There's something else. There's a couple, all that, man.
A couple sayings, you know.
So I got introduced to GHB, and what I was so against drugs because my dad was like, taught me at a young age, son, don't touch drugs. He used to practice with me, act like he was a drug dealer, and go, hey, you want some drugs? And I'm like, no. And he's like, come on, man, you want some drugs? No, I was a kid. And he's like, son, after the third time, they ask you again, you take them down. Like my dad got me like the permission to whoop somebody if they kept asking me to do drugs, man. I was completely against that. And the funny thing is, I used to want to be a cop when I was young, when I was a kid, and as soon as I got introduced to GHB, man, it was over with. And what got me through it was, you got to remember, hey, I was a chubby kid when I was younger. I'm taking steroids now. And anyone who uses steroids, man, you would think their self-esteem's on top of the world, but the truth of the matter is, it's about that big, man. And that's why they get into steroids. I know, because I was like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's the reason. So I'm taking steroids and filling this void. And, sure enough, they tell me, hey, this GHB, man, it's not a drug, bro. It used to be sold in GNC. It's legal, man. It used to be legal. It burns body fat. When you're sleeping, it releases natural growth hormones. It helps you get bigger. That was it, man.
It's got to be good.
It got to be good.
If it does all this
and
stuff.
And
then
I drank that stuff, and, man, it was on, bro. That woke up something inside that would cause some serious damage in my life, man.
And for people that don't know, that may be watching, GHB is considered what, the date?
Yeah, it's a date rape drug, and it's bodybuilders use it for years. Funny thing is, it's been gone for years, but I read something the other day that's like coming back around, man, which is like scary. My dad just sent it to me. My dad sent me something. My dad goes, "Oh no," sent me like a thing, like people are getting into that again, bro.
And doesn't it come from overseas?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's a chemical that's GBL is how you make it,
Yes.
And dude, it's found in rim cleaner. It's floor stripper, but when it's neutralized and made, it turns into GHB.
Well,
and it does do all those things, and it does help you sleep. And I know I've heard of hospitals using it to put people under, put them to do surgery on them, dude. Like it's a major narcotic substance, man. That creates a lot of damage in your system. It's bad, man.
So as time is moving on for you, Robby, now you're doing the steroids. You're feeling on top of the world.
Yeah, and I'm adding GHB to it.
And you're hanging out with a certain group of people, right?
Yeah.
What you guys start doing? This is like the beginning of your
Start breaking the law, man.
Breaking the law. Yes.
Yeah. I slowly, and the GHB is what made that easier to do, man. You know what I'm saying? When I was high off that stuff, like my ambitions and I've always had a big conscience, man. But when I'm on that stuff, this is gone.
All your morals.
I'm just down. I was totally raised a yes sir, no sir, treat women with respect. Don't ever steal, like all that. And thank God my dad raised me like that, because all that's coming to play later, But man, as soon as I got on the drugs, the GHB, it's like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. My alcohol, my drinking picks up, taking GHB picks up, and when things start to fall, I'm breaking the law with the dudes I'm hanging out with and stuff. We're stealing 4-wheelers and we're changing VIN numbers and selling them. Like we're getting crazy, bro.
You're getting up there.
We're getting bad, man. As
far as crimes.
Yeah. First I'm hanging out with them doing it, and then I'm with them doing it, and then all of a sudden, now my drinking's picking up, because as I'm doing these things, I'm not deep down inside. Every time I'm sober, I wake up sober, I realize what I did the night before, man. I'm like in shame, I'm just like, man, look what I did last night. And the only thing that would take that away would be what? More GHB, man.
Keep the cycle going, right?
Yeah, man.
Now, I remember reading in the book where you guys showed up to a party, and I guess they saw the twins there, and they were like, it's nothing but trouble.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that.
The house party?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was on New Year's, and that was towards in the beginning. We pull up to a house, and we walk up, and people knew us from school and all that, man. As soon as we come up to the house on New Year's.
You're getting a reputation.
Yeah, we got a reputation. Like, yo, these dudes are on steroids. Or don't mess with them. Like, they're bad boys. We liked that, man. And we pull up to the house, and we knock on it. Come to this big party they got going on. And they open the door. They go, oh, no. Y'all can't come in here, man. My mom said, y'all ain't allowed to come here, And we're like, all right. So they close the door, and as we're walking, one of the twins, he comes walking by the door, by a car. He takes his shirt off, and he's all juiced up, and I didn't know what he was doing. And he wrapped the shirt around his elbows. He just busts the window out, and he reaches his hand in like he's done this before. He knew, like, he didn't even look, man. He just knew the garage door open right there. He pushes it. The garage doors opens up, and he goes inside and finds a fire extinguisher and
and hoses them off.
Yeah.
Jesus. So no, I saw that in the book, man. I was like, man, yeah, I can imagine the mess they made in there with that fire extinguisher. So okay, so moving along there. So now you like you guys are stealing, you're committing felonies.
Yeah.
Right. You haven't been caught yet.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're still kind of free out
Oh
there
yeah,
in the
yeah,
free world.
yeah.
When was the first time you actually got slapped with some cuffs on?
I got well, actually, the first time I got arrested was it might have been underage. No, I didn't get no cuffs. Underage drinking. The first time I got arrested was I was at Wild Side strip club. I was outside of it,
I remember that.
and as I'm walking up, I see my buddy there, and you know, he had a beer in his hand, and he put it on top of the thing on my truck, and then all of a sudden, this guy grabbed him. I run up and grab the dude and toss him to the ground, you know. And as he falls on the ground, he pulls his badge out of his shirt. He was an undercover detective, man. So long story short, luckily I didn't get battery on law enforcement or anything like that, you know. But he got up and he roughed me up, put me down on the thing, and he opened up my wallet and went through my thing. I had 2 IDs because I was young, man. I was like 17 or something, 18, and he found 2 IDs and one was altered, and you know, and it was altered with a pen. We altered it, so which is like that's a felony. You know what I'm saying? If you have an ID that looks like you, it's a misdemeanor. But if you take your ID and you alter it, that's a felony, man. So that was my first arrest. You know.
No, you got arrested that day.
Yeah, I got arrested.
They charged you with the ID stuff.
Yeah. They charged me with ID stuff, took me to jail, and my little 8-hour.
This is your first time behind bars.
Behind bars, man, and it was scary, man. You know, I'm in there 8 hours. I'm freaked out. I'm like, man, I'll never, you know, and I got out. I'm like, man, I'll never go back there.
Right.
But I remember the feeling that it gave me, and it wasn't good. You know, it was slowly knocking my, you know, just the way I was raised, and you know what I'm saying, the person I was, now it just took me down. That's the thing about when people get arrested, it's sad, man. There's a lot of people that are caught in that cycle, man. You know, I've been to prison, man, and like, dude, here or not, there's actually good people in there, man.
Right.
You know, and they ended up going there because of drugs or alcohol. And like, it's like once you get in this cycle, you know, like I remember that happening, that arrest like took me down, my self-esteem, like everything about me. Now I feel like, oh man, look what I'm doing. And it just boom, boom. And I'm just getting
deeper and deeper.
Deeper and deeper, man. And then I catch my second arrest was a DUI. And this when things started getting bad, bro. I get a DUI. And
this is your car or somebody else's
my car, yeah.
Okay.
I catch a DUI, man. And that's when it started getting bad.
Yeah, and when you say it's starting to get bad now, because now you're probably
depressed. I'm drinking more. I'm drugging more. Yeah. Now I'm slipping to the gym. I'm taking steroids, but I'm barely going to the gym because now I'm just depressed. Now it goes from hanging out and partying on the weekends to like, all right, a couple of times in the week. Now it's like weekend thing to like, all right, now it's Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You know, it was just Friday, Saturday. For now it's Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Now before you know, it's every night, man. Like, you know, because it was the only thing that would take that away. And I'm drinking. Now I got a DUI. I'm like, oh man, license is gone. And I'm not, you know, instead of abiding by the law and not driving, I'm driving, man. I'm driving on a suspended license, getting caught. I got caught like 5-6 times driving on a suspended, man.
And how were every time you went in front of the court?
Oh, it was getting worse.
How was it
and worse,
with the
man.
Judges? You usually staying with the same judge, right?
My judge was Judge Sickland. They called him Judge Strickland. Yeah, dude, he kept seeing me, man. And then I got that DUI, and then I got another DUI. All in 1 year's period, man. I got like 2 DUIs, bunch of driving on suspended, underage drinking. I got arrested like 10 times or something in a year.
From a kid that was into football and had aspirations.
Yeah.
You know, going to college.
Immediately, it was like the consequences were fast, and it was like a ski jump, man. Boom! Like I mean, it was fast.
You know,
very fast.
I felt I'm gonna go back just a little bit, just. Because you had dreams of going to college and obtaining a scholarship.
Yep.
Tell me what happened.
I had a scholarship. I had a Division II 75% scholarship for football.
Yeah, okay.
And that was another thing that brought me down, man. Like, you know, I didn't do good in school. You know, I'm an SLD. What am I gonna do? And as soon as I got out of high school, my parents couldn't afford the other 25% scholarship, so I had a 75% scholarship to Division II school, and they couldn't afford the rest. And it was sad, man. So, like, I didn't go play ball. And that was, like, all I ever did. That was my life. That was, like, what I thought I was going to be and what I was going to do. And I ended up getting a job at Walmart. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, like, dude, I was just like, man, my life. You know, I was like, thought my life.
So you got all this negative stuff that just occurred to you, right? And now you get a chance at this place, it's Walmart, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And now, because you thought about being a cop back in the day. So now you have an opportunity, right? So tell me a little bit about that.
I ended up working at Walmart, and I was a buggy buster, and of course I'm using steroids.
Is that
now.
what they call?
Yeah, when you push the buggies and stuff, and I'm using steroids and stuff, so I'm all yoked up and stuff, and but it hadn't taken over. There wasn't any consequence. I wasn't crazy yet. The consequences, man. I maybe had tried GHB at this time. Who knows? But I ain't really nothing crazy. And sure enough, I'm on break one time. I was dating some girl at Walmart, and I'm on break. And as I'm walking back in, it was an old Walmart in Royal Palm, and in Royal Palm by the Home Depot, it was right there. 441 is where it was. The Walmarts, before they become super centers, used to have that vestibule in the middle where you can like play games and stuff.
Yes.
So it was like that. So I walked in that vestibule. I just come in and all of a sudden, like, dude takes a swing at me, man. Ooh, I get swung at like
a customer that's in there.
Yeah, the young dude comes in through the thing and he just takes a swing at me, and I dodge him and hit him with a hook, dropped him. You know what I'm saying? Hit a knife in his hand. You know what I'm saying? I didn't even know.
Okay, yeah.
And I ended up knowing. I ended up knowing who the dude was later on, but he dropped it. Well, it was that girl I was dating's boyfriend. She had a boyfriend. I had no clue, dude. She never told me. So this dude swings at me. I like I said, my dad, trained me boxing, man. I duck and boom, I drill him, hit him right in the jaw and knocked him out.
He was going to try to poke you?
Yeah. I mean, he swung at me like he was,
Yeah, damn.
And I didn't even know it wasn't a big knife, it was a pocket knife.
Yeah, but
so to the point that, like, I didn't realize he had a knife, and
it happened so quick.
Just thought it was a punch. I dodge him, and drill him, and I jump on him and start whooping him, and all the managers at Walmart are like, man, fire that dude, fire him, you know what I'm saying? Because they thought I was like some, there were some witnesses that seen it, and she was like, man, I seen that dude, he didn't do anything, he was protecting himself, that guy came and attacked him. So long story short, the loss prevention, undercover security people at Walmart get wind of this, they seen it in video and all that. They come up and recruit me because years ago, Walmart had like a vigorous loss prevention, bro. If you steal from Walmart, like, bro, they used to teach you to they go, hey man, if pack of gum, take them down, arrest them. They had Palm Beach County Sheriff's Department come there and handcuff certify us.
Okay.
Like you were legit. You're arresting, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the funny thing is, I had never done anything bad, and still I wasn't a bad kid at this point. So, dude, I loved my job, you know what I'm saying? And I was the most people that was ever caught in a month was like 7. I caught like 30 my first month. Like I was wearing white beaters, my hat back. People still right in front of me.
The undercover role and everything.
Oh, I was killing it, dude. And I was like, man, I loved it. It was like so it brought my confidence back up to like, man, maybe I can do something. And like the main loss prevention manager, he was like, man, he's like, I've never seen these many numbers. Like, I'm going to make you without. He's like, you can be a supervisor one day and you can take over these stores. They make good money. Like,
you saw potential in you.
Big potential, man. And that felt good, man. And it was like a sport to me, man. And I took it serious. Actually, my girlfriend's mom ended up robbing the store and I busted her, dude.
I remember reading.
And when that happened, they were like, yo, this dude
ain't playing.
They ain't playing, bro. They started sending me to Walmart's all around training people. Like, man, they like got for real. It got serious. But the scoops came in the picture, man. And at the very end, loss prevention, guy doing that GHB took me to the point where I ended up robbing Walmart, man. I started stealing from them, man.
The GHB took over.
Took over, man, and did something that I would never in a million years do, bro.
What's the feeling of GHB? Was it like euphoric?
Yeah, dude. You just feel like you just feel like strong, on top, unstoppable, high. It's just like you feel like you could do everything better.
Yeah.
It's bad, man.
So you end up, man. You're doing so well. How long did you work as a loss prevention?
I think I did it for a couple of years, man.
So you was loving it.
Oh man, I loved it, dude.
But the addiction of GHB
took it down, man. Yeah.
Took you down.
Yeah, and that's how it goes, man. It happens for a lot of people. Drugs and alcohol, take people's lives down. It's from the enemy, man.
And I remember in the book you were saying how you were trying to stop. I think
you
would run to your car and
yeah. The first time I tried to stop, I'm working there before I lost my job. Before I was stealing from them or did any of that, I was just like, and that's what's crazy is I found out I was addicted without even knowing it, man. I didn't know that GHB was get you physically addicted. Mm-hmm. There's a big difference from being addicted to something mentally to something physically, that if you don't have it, your body literally starts to withdraw. Like, I didn't know that, man. So one day I'm like, man, I got to stop doing this because, you know, I'm getting in trouble. And the boss, man, was like, listen, Robby, I don't know what's going on with you, man. But so I was like, man, listen, I'm going to stop on my own. And one day I tried to stop and I started shaking and like my body, man, it was crazy. And I didn't even know what was going on. I'm like, man, why do I feel this way, you know? And I was like, I went to my truck and I took a capful of a scoop, you know, and it was gone. Then I knew. I remember that feeling I had was like, oh man, I'm in trouble, bro. I'm addicted to this stuff, like literally. But you know, I ended up telling my parents the truth and like telling everybody, and they were supportive, and I wanted to stop on my own, and I ended up detoxing, getting myself off that stuff for the first time, you know.
So now you detox, right, and you try and get back on your feet.
Yeah.
Once you get out of detox, what's the first thing you do?
Well, I detoxed at my parents' house, you know.
Okay, so you didn't go to a
facility.
No.
I never done anything like that. I just was like, man, I'm done. But now I got these DUIs. I got a lot of stuff going on, man. And I start drinking, you know. And so I get away from the GHB, but now I start drinking like crazy. I like got rid of GHG, but then like up the drinking like big time because I was still trying to
get some kind of
the feeling, man. And I ended up becoming like real bad drinking, and believe it or not, that you know, I'm catching DUIs, and I'm just like, I'm drinking all the time. It was getting bad, bro. You know. And
you still hanging out with that same circle.
Yeah. I would get away from them at times, months at a time, because when I got the 2 DUIs, I ended up getting court ordered to the Fern House. You know.
Okay, yeah.
I get court ordered to that place and said they gave me 90 days in jail or 90 days at the Fern House. Obviously, I picked the 90 days at the Fern House. That was my first introduction to like 12-step programs, you know. And I go into there. I was court ordered there, but before I went there, I had to go turn myself into that place in like a couple weeks. I was working at like and here I lost that job, being lost prevention, and you know, like boom, now I'm back on the ground again, man. Like there I go again. Now I've lost that opportunity that I had, and I'm working at like a restaurant as a waiter, man. Mm-hmm. And even there, I remember I'm going to the back of the the coolers, and I'm just downing beers and stuff on my breaks, you know, getting drunk because I couldn't even stop myself, bro. And the thing I always like to tell people that's very, very important, because this changed my life, is don't compare your story to people. Relate. You know, when I first came into 12-step program, all these things happened to me. You gotta remember something. Like all this alcoholism and drug addiction is a progressive illness. It gets worse and worse and worse. So at 18, you know, I wasn't that, you know what I'm saying? So like, I used to hear people talk about going to prison and like going, hear that. And I just shut down. That's not me. Same way as I'm driving around looking at the guy with the sign, there's the alcoholic. I'm comparing, you know? And that's a big problem that happens. Hey man, I've never done that. I don't do that. I don't break the law. I'm not alcoholic. That doesn't mean that, man. This is what happens to me. This is what happens. This is my story, man. This is what happens to me when I drink. You know, some people might just, you know, they have different consequences, or, you know, can't stop, or they don't ever get in trouble with the law, but, you know, they drink every night. Like, they drink once a month, but when they drink, they binge drink. Yeah. They can't stop. Like, dude, you know, that once a month that you're drinking and you binge drink and you black out and you mow a family down, guess what? You're going to prison. Yeah. And guess what took you there? Alcoholism. It doesn't mean like you're it took me a lot of years to realize that, man. You know, and that's the problem with how powerful alcohol and drug addiction is, you know, it's a disease that tells you that you don't have it.
That's exactly what it is. It is a disease.
It's a disease that tells you that you don't have a disease.
Right.
You know?
And, you know, I guess, bro, you're blessed that you're here today.
Oh, man.
You know, alive in general, you know, for the family, because haven't been laced up with all those DUIs that, thank God you never hurt anybody. Man. Or, you know, yourself or anyone else. And really ended up with a, like, you know, long-term bid or something like that.
Yeah. I know plenty of people I was in prison that got DUI manslaughters, man.
Yeah, what's that? Is it like minimum 15 or something like that?
Yeah, 15, 20, 30 years. People, you know, like, life's over with, man.
That's your whole life. So, all right, Robby. So now you're at the Fern House. You clean up from there, or you're done with the program?
Yeah, no, I went to Fern House, man. I'm young, dude. I think I'm 19 years old, you know, or something like that, and I'm not listening to none of that, bro. I couldn't accept the fact I ain't an alcoholic. I'm 19. you know, I got 2 DUIs and a bunch of arrests, man. But my brain just didn't want to, you know, see people when they hear the word alcoholic, you're just like, oh my God, you know, like, it's just like, it's like the worst thing. Funny thing is, man, little did I know that being an alcoholic is a blessing. I'm glad I am today, man, because that's what's given me this unfair advantage in life, man, that I found. I would have never became the person that I am today if it wasn't for that. So I never knew that, you know what I'm saying? And it gets very, very deep.
Right.
But when that's happening at 19 years old, you think I'm thinking that way? Nah, man, I'm thinking, dude, I ain't even drank legally yet, man. I ain't even 21 years old. You mean I'm alcoholic? I ain't alcoholic. You got 2 DUIs, man. That ain't normal, buddy. Hey, but I'm like, nah, you know, man, I just didn't want to hear that. So I went to the program and did my 90 days, and I was a model, you know, a mop. I did everything I was supposed to do. Like, you know, I was good at that. When I being sober, and I didn't drink or drug for 90 days because I'm in this place. So, you know, when I would stop drinking or drugging, like my life would pick up quick. Boom, 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 you know. I ended up getting a job at Greater Yamaha. Like, I'm doing all stuff like that, you know. And
oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, and I pick up fast, man, you know. But I never fixed anything. If nothing changes, man. And I didn't accept the fact that I had these problems, so I never changed anything. So when they were telling stories and like, it's going through one ear out the other. But what it did do is, I will tell you this, and I'm big on sowing seeds, man. You sow seeds, you reap harvests. So seeds were being sowed, you know, planted in my head, bro. And that, I you know, so it was good that I went there because seeds were being planted. That when the time came, years later,
flourish, right?
You know, I knew where to go and what to do.
But it took
it
a lot of hurt in between before that little buds and
yeah.
flowers started to kind of
man,
sprout out, you know.
Yeah,
so what's the next step for you once you're done with the program? You're back on the streets. You got a job.
Yeah. At this time, I get to the 90 days, but I got my driver's license is gone, and I'm driving illegally, which is bad, man. You know what I'm saying? I get a job and end up, as soon as I got out, the first night I got out, I just did 90 days, just got out, went straight to a party, and I'm there with some friends, and one of my buddies like, hey, come on, man, have a beer. And I remember I wanted it so bad, but I was testing myself like, no, I can say no. I said, no, I'm good, man. Come on, man. I was like, nah, I'm good, man. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't drink that night. And I remember waking up the next day going, dang, I knew I wasn't no alcoholic. Hey, I said no problem. You know, little for nothing, man. The whole time they were drinking, I was like obsessing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wanted to.
Salivating.
Yeah. But I was like, no. And then, so the next day I was like, yeah, I'm good, man. I knew I wasn't an alcoholic, man. I knew it anyway. You know, just bad luck. And then that next day, I'm hanging with my buddies again, and he cracked a beer and was like, come on, man, you have a beer. I was like, all right, you know, I'll drink today. And, man, you know, I drank that beer and set right off to the races, bro, fast, man. Like, I mean fast. I was working at Greater Yamaha. Before you know it, I'm drinking beer. I start hanging out with my old friends again. And then all of a sudden, I'm doing GHB. Boom, all of a sudden, I'm like, man, I want beer. I want to try GHB. I was like, it's been a long time now. I could take a cap tonight. You know, I'm good. Just one a night, man. Boom, take that. It was over with. Then I got a bottle of it. Now I'm taking it daily. Then for you know it, I'm at Greater Yamaha, man. They're opening up the drawer, the cash register. I'm taking money out of it. I'm going in the back, and just comes out of nowhere. Taking money out of the register. All right, talk about Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. Like, dude, like I just taking money out of the register, and now I'm going in the back. And see, I don't know if you guys remember them GoPeds.
Yeah,
I'm taking them things, throwing them over the fence, man. To sell them for money.
Them up a little bit later.
I mean, I laugh now, but bro, it was bad. You know, that's.
You never got in trouble for that.
Oh yeah, not that, but now I'm on probation for my DUIs. Now I'm addicted to GHB again. I'm out. I just got out of the Fern House 2 weeks. I ended up in the Albertsons. I'm at a store in Albertsons, and I'm in there all GHB, and I'm eating out of the bag some ham or something. Like I'm just like, you know, I'm
starving.
Yeah, starving And the manager comes up and says, hey, you know, what are you doing? And I was like, and he brought his bag, some guys with him, and I got violent, you know, and started throwing stuff around like, I ain't stealing, I'm going to pay, you know, and I just walked out the store, and I got in my truck, and then I got arrested right then, man. So I was right back in front of the same judge, the judge who sent me to Fern House. And he says, it's been 2 weeks. You just got out of the Fern House, Judge Strickland. He goes, it's been 2 weeks. He goes, man, you're going to the drug farm. He told me the drug farm, right? That's a sheriff's drug farm they used to have. And
the one off of Southern.
Yeah, it was big back in the day. And I said, nah, I ain't doing that. And he goes, all right. So he put me in jail, made me think about it for like a month. And then somehow I was able to talk him into sending me back to the Fern House. So I did 30 days and went back to the Fern House. This time he gave me 6 months. And I wasn't there but like 2 months, man. And I'm out at work one day, and thought crossed my mind, take some GHB, man. Boom, all that stuff again.
Did you start to get comfortable? And and I don't know if comfortable is a word, but you're starting to go to the county. Now you're in the stockade.
Yeah, man. You know what happened? Not yet.
Not just yet. Okay.
But that time does come, man, where that starts to become
the
normal. Yeah, man. And like I'm not going to mention what 12-step program because I'm going to respect
absolutely.
The anonymous stuff. But, in a 12-step book, it says that the alcohol can't remember the humiliation of a week or a month ago, And it can't, bro. And the same thing, like the alcoholic's life becomes only the normal one, it says. Like, that became normal to me. After a while, I start, like, getting in trouble. And then I go to Fern House, 6 months, I don't make it. Boom, I'm back in front of the judge again. He said, you made it a month. He's like, you're going to the drug farm. And I said, no, I ain't. So he put me in jail, and I sat in jail for like 6 months, bro. Every time I went to court, he was like, you're going to drug farm. And I would say no. He's like, I'll see you in 2 months. Make me think about it.
Yeah.
Right? And then I kept saying no. And the funny thing is it was only misdemeanor charges. So I'm in jail for like 5-6 months. And he left. A new judge came. And the new judge was like, man, he's like, man, you've been locked up 6 months for this misdemeanor. He's like, time served. So he gave me time served and took me off probation. So like, was good.
You're good.
That was good, but not good. Because now I'm like,
you can do whatever you want now.
Yeah, man. So,
well, what does it lead to now?
And I always think too is I remember sitting in jail, and when you're in jail, you sober up. I'm done, bro. I ain't drinking or drugging anymore. I'm done. I'm on the phone with my family. I love you guys. I'm done. I'm sorry. I'm gonna do better. And man, if you would have gave me a lie detector test, I would have passed it, bro. I meant it. Dead serious about it. And that's how powerful a disease of alcoholism and drug addiction is, man. Is that I literally said that, man, and meant it. And you could have gave me a lie detector test, and I'm there months in jail. Embarrassing and humiliating like jail is. People telling you what to do, eat. Like it's brutal, bro. Jail is brutal. And then
I'm not gonna imagine, bro.
It's brutal, bro. And then I'm out free, walking over the Bridge of Freedom in Gun Club. We cross over.
Yeah, the bridge.
Bro, as I'm crossing that thing, someone picks me up. Boom, hands me a beer and a lure set, a pill.
Yeah.
It's the first time I never even took anything like that in my life. And boom, right there. I wasn't even like, no. It didn't even cross my mind. Just boom, like
natural.
I was just locked up 15 minutes ago. 6 months.
And it's not like you was fiending, like you
No.
need it right now because you've been 6 months clean, right?
Yeah.
For the most part.
Right, exactly. Yeah, of course, 100%. And that's what I'm trying to say is like, I had no mental defense against that first drink or drug, and that's what 12 steps do, man. They give you a mental defense. They do something. I didn't have any of that. I never changed anything, and so, and of course, person, places, and things. I'm hanging out with old people, bro. You hang around a barbershop, you're getting your hair cut, man.
You know what, bro? Again, I don't want to say too much, so I want people to read the book.
Yeah.
But I read that in there, and I was like, damn, that's a powerful statement, It's kind of like that. My dad used to say, tell me who your friends are, and I'll tell you who you are.
100%, man. 100%. The people I hang with today are good people, man. Sober.
And that's a good point or a good statement to make is surround yourself with positive people.
Yeah, winners, man. Hang with the winners.
Right? Don't worry about the dude that's cool and this and that, because especially if he's got vices in his life. Not, I don't live in a glass house, so I can't throw stones. You know what I mean? We all have something going on. But try to surround yourself with, if you're a business entrepreneur or whatever you're doing, try to hang out in that circle. Yeah. And try to stay away from some
100%, man.
Life.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question, Robby. When was the first time you start hanging back out with these twins?
Yeah.
And now you guys go right back to doing
Yeah, man.
And you get presented with an opportunity to do.
To break the law big time, man. You know, and I took it. Yes, I'd done air conditioning in the Fern House. One of my stints at Fern House, I ended up after I got from the Grady Yamaha and all that went down. I ended up getting a job for an AC company, and I guess I was probably 19 years old, and that's when I started air conditioning. So I'd done air conditioning since I was like 19, man. But there was a 3-year period, you know, that I was breaking the law, man. You know, I got into this stuff, and now I'm drinking and drugging, and I'm getting in trouble, and then, you know, got back on steroids again. See, I was able to, like, when I would get on steroids, I could stay sober. But like I said, steroids ain't sober, man. It ain't. But I could stay away from narcotics. I wouldn't drink, and I wouldn't do drugs because I was so addicted to steroids that now I'm addicted to going to the gym, using steroids. I'm getting high off that, and like eating clean. Like my body, I'm obsessed with my body, and like I'm arrogant. I'm prideful. I'm a douchebag, bro. I was, you know what I'm saying? Like, but I thought, you know what I'm saying? But that when you're focused on that, but the day comes always, man, where year goes by, I'm all and I'm hanging out, going to strip clubs, going to places like, hey, you want to drink? No, I'm good. I don't drink. You know, I'll work out. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever. But then the day comes one time, I'm like, you know, it's been a while. You know.
Mentally, you're just saying it's been a while.
It's been a while, man. You know,
you deserve it.
Yeah.
Right here, right?
Little dude right there
One ain't gonna hurt.
You deserve it, man. Look how long it's been. There ain't no way. Just drink tonight.
Take it, bro. It ain't gonna hurt.
Just tonight, man. Go right back to the normal stuff, eating clean and doing all that tomorrow, man. And I fall victim to that. Boom. And you know, alcoholism and drug addiction, it's this phenomenon of craving develops, man. Something different happens, man. You know, people who are non-alcoholic can't relate to that. But someone who can is, man. Something different happens, man. You know?
Is comparing the alcohol with GHB, same.
Yeah, GHB is just like, you know, you can get them. You know what I'm saying? Now, if you get enough alcohol, and people get, like we said, those liquid courage and all that stuff. You know, it just changes you, man. It's spirits. It's bad, bro. There's nothing good about it, man. You I would love someone to tell me something they've done good with alcohol. Just name something that you did positive because you were drinking. Anything, man. Like you became this, like you did this, you created this, you started this company. Like you tell me something positive.
Yeah.
You ain't gonna be able to do it, bro. I don't care who you are. I don't care, you know what I'm saying? But tell me something negative in your life. Chances are you might have been under an influence, man.
Very true.
Very true. I mean,
yeah,
people don't want to hear that stuff, man. They don't like hearing that, but hey.
Like I'm just saying here, it makes you think.
Yeah, it's just the truth, man. But that's why I used to compare, like, oh man, this dude's drinking GHB, prison. That ain't me. I'm good. Nah, don't do that, man. Don't fall victim to that because that don't mean anything. That's just what happens to me. Everyone has their own
vices,
and stories and things happen, bro. Exactly, and. You don't have to go to alcohol to deal with stuff, man. There's a better way, much better way, man.
Let me ask you a question, Robby, because you went from like alcohol to the GHB, and then all of a sudden like GHB just apparently dried out, right?
Yeah.
And now you're dabbling in bigger.
Oh yeah. So when I started using them pain pills, when that day I got out of jail and they gave me pain medication, I take the pain pills, and that started a whole nother road of some bad stuff. And most anyone you ever meet in your life that's been an opiate drug addict and even became heroin addicts, they started like that, man. Straight up. And some people, man, I know that got hurt and went to the doctor. You know what I'm saying? Started taking pain medications, got addicted to it, and it changed their life. You know? Once you wake up, that thing. See, back in the day when I told you, hey man, you want some GHB? And I took it, I crossed the line. When I got addicted to that stuff and I went out to my truck and was like, man, I'm addicted to GHB, I need help. I crossed the line that could never be crossed back. Once you pass that line, there ain't no turning back, bro.
Especially when you start moving on to, you know.
Yeah, once you cross that line, it's all. Yeah, now I, you know, time passes by. I'm you know, pain medications lead to OxyContin, to boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? And dude, I remember being in and out and getting in trouble. Go to a meeting. You know, some guy comes in, he starts talking about, you know, shooting heroin and shooting pills. I'm thinking, man, this is a junkie, man. I'll never do that, bro. Been to prison. I'll never do that. You know what I'm saying? And I did all that, man. You know, those are called yets.
Yets?
Those are called yets. Yeah, I ain't done that yet. Oh. Careful.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? You don't know. And because I was comparing myself, man, you know, I didn't relate to people. And, you know, sure enough, the time came where, you know, it's a progressive illness, man. It just gets worse and worse and worse. I'm getting more and more trouble. I'm in and out of jails. It's just getting bad and bad, you know. And then one time I get out, I find myself in a bad place with some dude. And all of a sudden, man, I've been sober. Actually, I got sober. Finally, I hit a bottom one time. I was so bad on GHB and all this stuff, and I hit a bottom. And I go, man, this is the first time I ever really got sober. I go, man, I'm done. I need help. And I was addicted to GHB again. I tried smoking crack. I had something with some people. Like, I was like, bro, and that night I remember I'm at this place with these people. I went outside, and I was outside, and I tried smoking crack, and I was addicted to GHB, right? And I'm downstairs, and I go, man, what's happened in my life, man? I'm like, bro, I had like a little moment of clarity, and I'm like 21 years old, 22 years old. I said, man, I'm done. And I was in tears, and I go to my dad. I said, Dad, I need help. Like, I really did. And I had been court ordered to Fern House I don't know how many times. I actually took myself there. and I stayed there the whole 6 months, man. And I got a sponsor, and I worked steps, and I started to change my life. But, you know, in the 12-step programs, when we talk about working that first step, you know, admitting your powers or whatever. And the truth is, man, bro, some people gamble. Some people have sex problems. Some people are overeaters. Like, man, it's a spiritual malady. You know, the symptom of the disease is drinking, drugging, overeating, gambling. Like, people have their own thing. Steroids, you know, like whatever, man. You know what I'm saying? Those are symptoms of it, but it's a spiritual malady, man. And I was like, literally go to Fern House, went through 12 steps and changed my life again. But here's the problem, man. I kept breaking the law a little bit, you know? Like, I was driving on a suspended license. I didn't do anything else, but I thought in my mind, like, oh, that ain't bad. It is bad, man. I was breaking the law, and those little things snowball into bigger things, you know? And then I stayed sober for like a year. My life got good. I wasn't doing those steroids. I wasn't none of that. I was going to meetings, helping people. My life was getting good. I'm like, man, this is awesome. And then somewhere along the line, man, I was like working out in the gym, and like I was thinking about steroids. I'm like, man. And then again, here goes that little dude.
The little dude popped up.
Yeah, he's like, hey, man, you know, steroids aren't a drug, man. You know, like, those things make you bigger. They make you stronger. When you're working, you work harder, man. Like, how could that be bad? You know, like, you eat clean, you're healthy. Boom, man. I'm like, you know what? And I actually went to the guy that was sponsoring me, and he's a guy helping me. I said, hey, man, I'm thinking about taking steroid. And the worst part thing is this dude signed off on it. He was like, yeah, you know, man, I don't think that's drug. And I ended up getting him some. That dude went back out after he had 8 years sobriety. He picked up the steroids, and he's been out for a lot of years, bro.
Yeah.
A lot of years. And so I get the steroids, and before you know it, man, now I'm using steroids. Now I'm like, all right, now I don't need AA. I stopped going to meetings. You know, I stopped doing this. I stopped going this. Boom, boom, boom. It's getting worse and worse and worse. And then before you know it, I don't even go to meetings anymore. Now I'm like talking crap about people that go to meetings. I'm like, man, they were weak. You know, it's crazy, you know? That's how the mind gets. Yeah. And I'm on steroids, and then again, I find myself around the bad people again, hanging out. Boom, I'm around these dudes. And I was doing air conditioning on good. Now I get around these people, and before you know it, I'm out at a strip club or I'm out somewhere, man, and the thought comes in my mind again, hey, man, it's been some time. Maybe you were just young then, you know?
the mind is a powerful
and boom, muscle. It's on, bro. And you know, and that's when things got crazy, man. And when I found myself hanging around with them, getting bad, and I found myself in a hotel one time with this guy, and he's doing drugs, and I tried shooting heroin for the first time, you know? And, you know, it was just like that, dude. Wasn't like you know what I'm saying? Just like, you said, the wrong place at the wrong time, was already high as it was, and the dude had a bag of brand new needles, and that was my, all right. And he was like, I'll do it for you. You know, and
they say that's, well, we all know that's one of the worst.
Yeah.
One of the most addictive drugs.
Oh, yeah, man. And then that just took me down a whole nother road, bro. You know, it took me down a whole nother road, and I'm breaking the law with these guys, and we're committing federal crimes, and like just getting it in, man. Like we just didn't care, man.
Yeah. And then, again, we don't want to give up too much of your book, but ultimately it takes you. I remember just from one little part that I remember you were driving, trying to sell a piece, right? A watch piece.
Oh yeah.
And you actually got pulled over by what you said was a decent cop, right?
Yeah,
he kind of treated you kind
like
of
an
fairly.
angel, man. Like, that dude probably saved my life.
You know, and what actually happened? You were trying to sell a piece, and then
I had a watch. You know, I'm falling down. You know, we're during this. You know, if you could imagine what I can do in a year, 18 and 19, try 10 years.
right.
Like committing felonies, breaking law. I mean, just off the chain, bro. Like just traveling the world, Colombia, Costa Rica. Like, man, we're just like out there, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? And making a lot of money, breaking, and like just getting nuts. Yeah. And but then all that comes to a crashing in, and towards the very end, I had a Brightland or something, like a nice watch I had, and I was going to go sell it somewhere, pawn. I don't know what I was doing, man. And you know, I get pulled over, and I'm bad, man. I'm just in bad shape at this point. I'm drinking, drugging, pills. I'm just doing everything. I'm a garbage can, bro. My drug of choice is more. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just whatever it is. My drug of choice is more. Whatever's available, more of it. And this cop pulls me over, and what's crazy is, man, he wasn't like a normal cop. He had like the jump out. He had like the vest on, like he was a warrant cop.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like he had regular clothes on, but he had the green vest on and the hat backwards and stuff, and a little unmarked car. And he got me, man. But dude, there's something different happening. You know, dude, I had car full of drugs and pills and like another DUI. He could have got me another DUI.
Yeah, for everything.
He didn't do that, man. It was nuts, man. It was almost like a divine intervention. It was like a
blessing in disguise.
Bro, he grabbed me and was like, "Listen, man, you don't even know me." He's like, "You know, have you had enough?" So he said to me, man. Like it was crazy, man.
Is this an older guy?
Dude, I
still
think about this to this day, man.
Yeah.
Like you don't know where God's at, you know. And he's like, "Have you had enough, man?" He goes, "You got another shot right now, man, to change your life." And he just arrested me I had warrants.
Right.
All he did was arrest me for that. And that was February 24th, 2011. And you know, my sobriety date is March 25th, a month later. And the reason I say that is I go to jail. I got warrants out for my arrest. I ain't getting no bond. I'm in trouble in Stewart, Martin County, Fort Lauderdale. I'm in trouble, bro.
Southeast Florida.
Everywhere I go, man, I'm in trouble. So like I ain't getting out for a long time, you know? And needless to say, man, I was full-blown alcoholic. I'm drinking every day. I'm eating handfuls of pills. I'm addicted to opiates, addicted to alcohol, GH, you name it, man. I'm addicted to all of it. And I get arrested, and they put me in a gun club, and within I told them, I was like, listen, and I'm eating Xanax, man. I'm eating like 10, 12 Xanax a day. I'm addicted to barbiturate, which is really, really bad.
Right, sure.
When you're addicted to those, you can die from the withdrawal because you can have seizures.
They affect your nervous system.
Yeah, man. So I'm on all this stuff, and I told the people when they locked me up in the jail, I'm like, listen, I'm about to be detoxing really, really bad, you know? But they don't care, man. To them, you're a criminal.
Yeah.
Sink or swim. You know what I'm saying? But it was good that happened to me. And within 3 days, man, I ended up going into like seizures, man. I went into seizures, almost bit my tongue off. It was crazy, man. And they took me and they put me in the medical dorm, in a paper suit, butt naked, man, in a padded floor. And that was in February. The reason I say my sobriety date was a year is going through all that. They put me in the stockade to be sentenced. And back in the day, the stockade, man, had weekenders. Yeah. Bro, and they brought in mad drugs. Like, I mean, like, you name it. Here I go after going through all that. I'm back on drugs and drink again, locked up for like 3 weeks, going hard. And that's when I changed my life. March 25th, 2011. That's my sobriety date, and it's my birthday. Man, I turned 29 years old, and I was like, man, I'm sitting in a cell, and I'm like, dude, I couldn't get any drunker or higher, and locked up, and I was just like depressed and down, and I'm just like, man, I've lost everything in the world through drugs and alcohol. You know what I'm saying? Lost my family. My dad on the phone said, right before that day, he goes, son, you know, I can't stop you from killing yourself, but I can stop you from killing your mother. We're done.
That's deep. Oh, that's deep.
Yeah, man.
When I read that, I was like, damn.
Yeah, deep. Man. And, dude, that night I was just like, man, I had like a moment of clarity. Something hit me and said, look, man, you're locked up. You're in a controlled environment, and you can't even stay sober. You can't even stay sober locked up, dude. And I dropped to my knees, man. And I didn't even know what my thought was on God at this time.
Right.
And I just said, you know, God, please help me. And, you know, I haven't had a drink or a drug since, man. And he helped me.
Wow.
He helped me, but it definitely took some action.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, there was a lot of action involved, man. And I turned my life around that day, and a bunch of action behind that, and did some time, was out. A guy was bringing meetings into institutions, which I do now once a week. I go into prisons. But that guy was going in there. Thank God. You know, that guy had a wife, a family, he had stuff going on in his life, man. But he took the time out of his life to give back and to go into the prisons and jails and help people. So he was in there taking time out of his life, and he said something to me that changed my life. If that guy knew where my life was today, man, I wish I knew. But that's why I go to institutions. Because I got every reason to go, nah, I got a wife, I got kids, I got a lot going on. Nah, bro, right. I self-sacrifice. God pulled me out of the mud, bro. It's my job to pull other people out of the mud. If I ain't, bro, I'm a douchebag, dude. So sure enough, I listened to him. He goes, man, go to a meeting and get a sponsor. And I did that. You know, and I worked 12 steps, and my life completely changed, man. And it completely changed. And I had many, many miracles, many, many spiritual experiences, many, many blessings. By the way, I got a letter in the mail. I got a letter in the mail from the DMV, says your license has been revoked for the remainder of your life from the DMV, bro. That's what I got in the mail, bro. So it was taken forever, okay? And so everything is going against me. You know, the little guy here saying, man, you're a nobody, you're never gonna make it. You got no driver's license, you're an AC guy, but I kept persevering, and I stayed sober, and I stayed strong, and I didn't break the law. I Ubered to meetings, got to meetings, I did what I had to do. And I was about 2 years sober. I when I got a phone call from my lawyer, man. I had a childhood lawyer because I was always in trouble and stuff, dude. Yeah. And he seen me turn my life around. He was proud of me, 12 steps what he did in my life. So he goes, hey man, I got some really bad news, bro. I was like, well, he goes, you've been indicted by the FBI. He told me that, man.
Your eyes must have been like
dude,
this wide and just...
I remember like yesterday, I was in a garage working on an air conditioning. I was up on the ladder, and I was installing an AC unit, and my heart just dropped, Like, I was just like... I actually got lightheaded, man.
Yeah.
My adrenaline, I'm like what? Dude, you're indicted by the FBI. It don't say the state. It says United States of America versus John Robert Eddy, bro. That's scary. United States of America versus you, dude. Not state of Florida. Yeah, dude, And but you know what, man? The thought of a drink or drug never crossed my mind. And that's because I was, going to meetings, and I turned my life around, and I had this psychic change that happened through 12 steps, man. And I found God, and long story short, man, the whole pre-sentence investigation and all that, and the sentencing took about a year. You know what? I kept helping people. I kept persevering. I was facing 25 years in prison, man. It's scary. And I got blessed and ended up getting, the federal prosecutors want to give me 10 years. They said 10 years is lenient due to Mr. Eddy's extensive criminal history. Those were their exact words. And they were right too, man. They were right. And I manned up because I broke the law, and I was there when the sentencing came, and I was ready to do whatever time that judge gave me. And I wasn't like, oh, wait a minute. It was different this time. I was done. I turned my life around, and I realized, man, you break the law. You break the law, wreckage of the past can come get you, man. And it did. And I went catches up, man. And it caught up, years later, man, like 6 years later. And I ended up going to I ended up getting sentenced. The judge ended up sentencing me to 5 years. He went under, and anyone who knows is like the law, bro. Like, judges don't do that, bro. Like, that was divine intervention.
Yeah, somebody up there.
That was a miracle, bro.
Like, he's doing
a
good.
Federal judge sentenced me to 5 under what they were saying, which was a miracle. And I went to prison, man, and I had to turn myself in a bad prison. With my mom and my dad, I turned my life around. So all those people I lost were back in my life, and it was different, man. They knew I wasn't so I had people behind me.
You had a good support system.
I had support. People were there writing letters.
Which is very important, right?
Yeah, man. They wrote letters to the judge. Like, I had my sponsor spoke at the judge. I had people behind me say, hey, this man's turning his life around. He's a good man, And the federal prosecutors actually said that because they investigate you. They're like, we know he's turned his life around, and we're glad for that, but he's never done any real time in prison, and now it's time. But they were right though, man. Like,
you got away with
they were right. Yeah, they were right, man. So like, I turned myself into prison, and instead of being like, poor me, man, pour me another drink. You know what I'm saying? I stayed focused, man. And I was like, you know what? I'm mentally and physically in the best shape I've ever been in my whole life, and I'm gonna leave this place even better. And I started running 5 miles a day, working out. I was, working steps in there, helping men, mentoring men. I was helping people, and I was maybe a year in my sentence, 8 months to a year in my sentence, and I just got done taking a guy through steps, changing these dudes' life, bringing these men to God. It was powerful.
You're doing that work inside
in prison, bro. Yeah. And what's really crazy is one of my friends goes, "Hey, Robby, when I was going into prison, now I'm sentenced already." He goes, "Robby, you're not being sentenced to prison. You're being called, buddy." He goes, "God needs you in there, man. You're going to help some men and you're going to come out." That's what he told me. Now, when he said that to me, when that happened, I'm thinking, dude, I'm sentenced. I ain't going in and going out, bro. I got sentenced. I got to turn myself in 90 days. The sentence is over. What do you mean going in and going out, bro? I'm going to do 5 years, which is still like a long time. It sucks, man. So, dude, and sure enough, man, like he said it to me. It was like God was just, I don't know if you remember the prayer footprints.
Yes.
Yeah, man. Yes. Like I look back and like
one set, right?
It's been getting carried, man. And like I'm in prison helping these men, and out of nowhere I get a letter from the judge. A motion, he cut my time from 5 years to 3. I didn't ask for that. I didn't pray for it. I didn't tell on nobody. I didn't even nothing, bro. Like it just boom.
What are the chances of that happening?
No, there is no chances.
Right?
That's called God, man. That's impossible. That's impossible. So you got to imagine where my faith is going at this time. These miracles taking place in my life. So my faith towards God is becoming stronger and stronger. And I realize how real he really is. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden I get another drug program in the prison. It's called RDAP in the federal prison. It took off another year. So I ended up doing like 2 years, man, on a 25-year prison sentence, man.
The man upstairs is definitely looking out for you.
Right. And today I know why, you know what I'm saying? Because, I'm sober over 10 years, and when and when I got out, man, I immediately started going back to meetings, helping people, and boom, and I started Spectrum AC, my company. I started 3 months out of prison. I had no driver's license, and I would put a guy, hire a guy, hire men. I would train them in air conditioning, and I would get some of them sober. So not only was I sowing seeds in these men's life, helping them, but I was also, they're helping me. They're driving me. I'm driving around. The first six years of my sobriety, I had no driver's license. And I helping people, doing the right thing. Boom, 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 and I end up, fast forward, all these great things start happening in my life. I start Spectrum AC, and then I get another truck on the road, and I still got a driver. I'm like, got 2 trucks on the road, and I'm working hard, and I'm being honest, and I'm in trouble with the Fed. I was on probation, and I owed them a lot of money, you know what I'm saying? Which I made those amends, bro. I paid it all. That's what God's done in my life. I've amended my behavior. I literally 2 months ago paid the last financial amends. I paid it.
Bro, you got a big heart because I read in there where you were doing a job for an elderly lady.
Yeah. And
you hooked her up.
Well, I'll tell you what happened. So, air conditioning, I'm doing all that. All these things are happening. And I believe in God at the time. And I'm going to tell you what brought me to salvation, man. I'm going to tell you what really changed my life. I'm 8 years sober. I meet my wife. I'm married. In sobriety, I end up getting my driver's license back. Miracle. I go in front of a judge and these things. I get my driver's license back, dude. Like, it was taking forever. As I start Spectrum AC, I had a qualifier. Someone qualified my company. Right. I was an SLD kid. I'm like, I can't pass a contractor's exam. Well, you know what, man? From the things I went through in prison and all these things, and God showing, I said, yes, I can. So I started persevering and studying for my air conditioning license every day. I studied for an hour every day, man. And I did that for about 9 months. And I took the highest air conditioning contractor's license you can get, and I passed it, man. And then
that's huge, man.
Dude, so I passed that license, and everyone goes, all right, man, that's great that you passed that license, that test, which is a miracle. SLD kid, man. I passed them by 1 point, by the way, both. Business finance, 1 point. Hey, now, this is a hard test, bro.
Yeah, you got a budget and
dude, it's
insane,
and all that stuff, bro. So I passed this test, a state test, which was amazing. And it was God, man. I'm praying all the time, hitting my knees every morning, every night praying. And living my life that way. A lot of people can run their mouth, man. But if your feet ain't matching your mouth, it don't matter, bro. You can do all this you want, man. But if these things right here ain't matching this right here, it don't matter, bro. So my feet were matching my mouth, man. Going to detoxes, helping people, living my life, opening the door. Not just alcoholics and drug addicts, people, man, helping, living this life, being a good person. And sure enough, I get the license. I get my contractor's license. It was amazing. Everyone's like, man, that's great that you got that and you passed that. Good job. Well, bro, you ain't never getting a license with 45 arrests and 3 conviction. You ain't felonies. You ain't getting it, bro. State of Florida ain't giving you that. Bro, I went in front of the DBPR, the DBPR, bro, in Tallahassee, a big board, told them my testimony, and they gave me that license, bro. You know what I'm saying? And I got that. Got married to my wife, man. Like, got my drive, started this company. And I remember all these things happening. Now, I've been through all this stuff. $30 million indictment, travel the world. This crazy. People were like, man, you need to write a book, bro. You need to write a book, bro. And I was like, nah, it didn't really ever hit me. Now I know why. So all this is happening. Spectrum AC, married. I have kids. I end up having my son, my baby boy. Now I have a daughter. My wife has 2 kids from other relationships that I raised, man. I'm man enough to raise, which is huge, man, from a guy who came from ours. And so all these things are happening in my life, positive, man. And then like I sell my house in Northwood and I buy a nice, like just positive things are taking place in my life more and more and more and more. And the house that I bought, this is what changed my life even more, bro. That gave me the true unfair advantage that anyone can have, because this whole podcast, we're talking about alcohol and drug addiction, but the unfair advantage isn't for people to just have alcohol and drug addiction people. It's not, man. Anyone can have it. Anybody can have it, bro. And the unfair advantage is when I met this guy, he did my roof, okay? His name's he's Campany Roofing. He's a huge roofing company, bro. He taught me the financial principles of the Bible, bro. And at one time, if you would have mentioned the word Jesus to me, man, we might have gotten a fight, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I was totally against that, bro. I didn't want to hear about that. I believe in God, but I'm going to come out, I'll be getting mad. I used to get mad, bro, you know what I'm saying? Because I didn't know. And sure enough, like, I meet this guy, and he does my roof for like 10 grand. He blesses me. And he's a wealthy guy, and he's a businessman. I said, man, so anytime I met people like that, I would ask him, hey, how'd you become entrepreneur? And he told me, like, hey, man, work hard, blah, 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 and tell me a few things. And then I put his text message in this book. And then one morning I'm sitting there praying, and he shoots me a text message, and he goes, Robby, let me tell you how I really became successful. And, dude, he starts busting down on me, all the people he's blessed, and he sows seeds, and he helps people, and that, Robby, God's gifted you with air conditioning. Use that gift to bless people when you can. Like, he's going off, bro, like, telling me all these things. And the first thing I started out was that morning I went to some lady's house, and this is when I started hearing the Holy Spirit. I go into this lady's house, and she'd had an AC for like a couple years, bro. Her AC wasn't working upstairs. And as I'm driving, as I pull up to her house, and she tells me she has no AC, I feel this still small voice be like, bless her. And I end up blessing this lady with 2 brand new ACs, man. And I said, listen, she goes, I can't afford to fix it. I go, that's fine. My guys will be here Monday. And I sent them there, and we fixed it. And she was in tears, and she was crying. And I said, man, God told me to do that. And it was amazing. And that was the first thing where I started to, my faith. And
just grew stronger and stronger.
Oh, bro. And then my wife, my wife always believed in Jesus, and she would talk about that. I'd be angry, bro. Like, I would just be like, I'd get mad. I believed in God, and like, steps and all that got me pretty far. I got 3 trucks on the road. Like, I'm like, man, my life is good. I've learned these principles, these 12 principles I put in my life to be a good person. And one morning, my wife had a book sitting there, and it was called Jesus Calling. And I prayed every morning, read these books. And one time I picked up the book. I go, man, let me read this thing. I grabbed it. And the little dude on the shoulder was like, no, don't read that. And the other side's like, no, read that, So I grabbed it, and I opened it, and I read it, man. And it hit me like a ton of bricks, man. Like, it was speaking to me. And, I was so against, Jesus and like the Bible because of religion, man. Religion took me from that, bro. I never knew. My dad's Roman Catholic. My mom's Baptist. So I just was like, to me, God was condemning. Like, if you don't, you got to tell a 10 Hail Mary. Like, that's where it was, bro. That's what took me from that, man. I didn't know that. If you read the Bible, it's against that. It's all God wants you to have is a relationship with him, man. And if you're a father, you're a father yourself. I'll tell you like this. One day I was hugging my son, and I just was like, man, I just love him so much, unconditionally. And a little voice said, dang it, you love him that much? I love you way more. And I was holding my son like, wow, this is how God. So my son, I want him to have toys, the best football. Man, I want him the best life. That's how God wants for us, man. He wants us to have everything, bro. He wants you to have a great life, you know? And I go to church with my wife because I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go to church with my wife just to
Please and make her happy.
Yeah. Let me just be a supportive husband.
Yeah.
I go to church and they're passing baskets. They're talking about tithing. I'm like, dude, I'm out of here. I'm never coming here again. And I'm walking on the, this is when my life started changing, man. I'm walking in the, leaving the church. And I'm like, I'm never coming back. I'm done, you know? And I'm still going to prisons, doing my thing. I'm like, I'm sticking to my little 12. And a little voice said, in the 12-step book, it says, don't miss the beauty of the forest because of some of the ugliness of its trees, man. And a voice said that to me, and I said, dang. So I came back the very next week, man, and a guy was speaking about tithing. And, man, I was rolling in my seat again. I'm like, this guy talking about give 10% of his income. Like, are you crazy? Like, I'm just like, this dude, what is wrong with these people? But I'm listening to him, and I focus, man. And instead of missing the beauty of the forest because of my ugly trees, I focus on this, man. This guy don't even go to this church. So he's got no reason to bring that money to this church. He's speaking from his heart. He starts crying, man. This dude starts crying. He says, listen, if you're not tithing, doesn't mean you're not a Christian or anything like that. But you have no idea what you're missing. You have no idea the financial freedom you're missing. You have no idea the freedom. And I'm listening to this, man. He starts crying. I said, whoa, man. Like, this dude's crying. So I grab the little envelope right there, and I pick it up, and I take some money out of my pocket, and I go to put it in the envelope. As I looked on the back of the envelope, it had a verse from the Bible, Malachi 3:11, and it says, bring the full tithe to the storehouse, meaning 10% of your income, that I will not open up the windows of heaven for you and pour so many blessings you will need no room for more. Test me. Dude, I started testing him, man. And wow. That day, that guy at the end of it said he want to accept Jesus as their Lord and Savior. I did that day, started tithing that day, and bro, just being honest with you, man, then the very next day, I was in the Bible. I started waking up every morning, went by my prayers, and I started reading the Bible. Not religiously, just reading a little bit, 10 minutes.
Reading the verses.
10 minutes. I started walking in the room, and I pray over my family every morning. I do this every morning, bro. Pray over my family. Pray over my kids. I read that Bible, and I take the things out of the Bible, and I put them into my life. You know what I'm saying? Not just read it. Dude, it came alive to me. It's a word. And all this religion made me scared of the Bible. I started reading the Bible. All the Bible does is make you a better man, better husband, better father, better businessman. It teaches you. I didn't know that. If you ask many people, how many times you read the Bible? They're going to tell you no. So you're talking things about the Bible, you don't even read it. The problem is someone else grabbed the Bible, and they put their own spin on it. So you're listening to them. You read it yourself. So I read it, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. I started taking the financial principles of the Bible, tithing, you know, and put it this way, man. In a year from tithing, I went from 3 trucks to 10.
Man, I'm just blessed you, man.
And then I started learning how to sow seeds in people's lives, and I started using my company as a ministry, and that's what I do, bro. God uses me. The body of Christ is us, man. He uses me, man. And when God can trust you with a little bit, he'll trust you with a lot. You know? Hey, bro, and people ask me all the time, how you build this company, how you do this. I didn't do any of this, man. I'm not capable. But the truth is I have childlike faith, and I believe. And I put those principles into my life. Not just in work, everywhere, business. My wife, we're equally yoked. When you're equally yoked with your wife, bro, and she's the same way, sky's the limit. She has a ministry. She helps women. So it just comes, man. Like it just, you know what I'm saying? When you're happening, when you're living your life, I let my feet be alive. And the truth is, I know there's going to be persecution. You know, the Bible says they hated me before they hated you. You know, speaking about this stuff, some people are like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's just what's going to happen, bro. But the truth is, anyone ask me how did I get this unfair advantage? I took those principles from the Bible and I put them into my life, man. And I live them, you know, and daily. And I help men. I pray for my men in the morning. I sow seeds. The Bible says, don't let the right hand know what the left hand is doing. I'm not here. I'm here today to give a testimony, bro. I didn't write a book to make money.
Right, no, yeah,
I wrote a book to get that out there. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I know it puts a bullseye on my back from the devil. I already know that.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I believe in that.
Of course.
Absolutely.
But that's how I got that. That's how I got that unfair advantage, man. And now it's just, God trusts me, man. He knows.
Bro, what you're doing is phenomenal, man. All the speaking and going to different venues.
Yeah.
And sharing your experience to these men and women.
Yeah, because I want other people to experience it, because they can too. The world and religion and certain things put a veil over my eyes, man, and I just was wondering why all these times I had this big hole that I was trying to fill with steroids, drugs, money, gambling. Dude, you're never going to fill it. You'll never fill it. One thing will fill it. God.
Bro.
Guess what? Mine's full, dude. It's full. It's completely full. And I'll leave here today fuller.
Absolutely.
Tonight,
I'm leaving full.
Yeah, dude. Hey, I'm fuller, bro.
What you're speaking truth.
It's truth.
You're speaking, reality. What the man upstairs
from my heart,
can
man.
do from you,
Well,
and you're speaking from your heart.
Yeah, if God, the Bible says, if God is for you, who can be against you? People just don't know what's there, man. Give it a chance. Yourself. And I never did, man. And I didn't realize what I was missing. I was missing this this advantage, man, over life. And and being on a pink cloud, I was always miserable and wondering what was wrong with me. I was missing one thing. All of us, dude, think about where we came from, man. We were created. Our mothers created us in a womb, bro. Like, just think about how all that goes down. Like, if you can't think there's no God, the way all these things happen, and the funny thing is like, God wants a relationship with us. He's our Father, man.
Absolutely, man. Robby, let me say, you have so much to say, so much, to preach about, if that's the word, I don't know. But let me just say thank you off the bat. I so much appreciate you coming here, first of all, and telling your testimony, your real life story, and sharing that. And hopefully somebody that's listening or watching can say that, hey, I was that guy. Or I am that guy right now. I need to make some kind of change in my life. Yeah. So that, again, thank you very much. I want to end it on a positive note, because again, I want people to read your book and feel what I felt when I read the book. Like, I couldn't put it down, and I'm not telling you that to hype you up and what other people have said. But I'll mention it again. We'll put it in our link. The Unfair Advantage, ladies and gentlemen, by John Robert Eddy. Go read it. I'm telling you, you cannot put this book down once you open it, and it gives you Robby's real life story. From pretty much being in the bottom, sweating and almost dying, from substance abuse or stuff that you were taking or whatever, to where you are now, blessed, successful, a family man, and sharing with others, man. So, so on that note, man, I can say thank you again, Robby, and we'll see you guys next time.